Hello, my delicious co-creators. Lilou here, still in Japan. Just amazing stories all the way around. I'm excited to be sitting next to you. Leah, hello. You're from the US?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Berkeley, California.
Berkeley, California. Oh, I love this area because there's so many juicy people with wisdom over there. I spent some time on a juicy tour there. But right now we're in Japan, and we just did this amazing Symphony of Peace prayer yesterday here. Why did you decide to come to Japan to participate in this?
I met one of the organizers, Yuka, visiting in Berkeley, and maybe we met for 10 or 15 minutes, but I liked her so much. I just, I wanted to support whatever she was up to, or not even support, I just wanted to be near her. Mm-hmm. I've never been to Japan, and I just sort of trusted that instant connection.
I love when we follow our intuition because it always leads to great surprises. You're an artist. You're a dancer. Is that right?
I do a lot of dancing. Yeah.
And you self-published this book, Dharma Comics. So I want to hear all about it.
Yeah. About 3 years ago, I was, working, and then I realized I didn't really know what I wanted to do or what my priorities were. So I took a break from my job. I was working in technology at the time to try and get to know myself. And during that time, I started doing, these meditation retreats and yoga and dancing and all sorts of different ways of exploring. And while I started doing these things, I would draw these little pictures or write little essays about what I was learning. And I was just a terrible artist at the time. I mean, there'd be stick figures and speech bubbles, and that was it, just sort of capturing the essence of some funny moment that I'd had or some learning. And then after a while, people really seemed to resonate with the drawings, and I was still kind of searching for myself, trying on different projects, and all the while I just kept drawing these little comics and posting them on Facebook. And after a while, people would ask, where's the one about blah, 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 or I need the one with the quote about something. So I created a website and I posted them all there so people could find them easily. And then after a while, more and more people coming to the website, more and more people telling me, can I use this comic in this presentation? And it started to finally click that even though I thought I was using these comics as a way of supporting me finding myself, somehow in the journey of that, that's what I had become, and that's what I was most passionate about. It's the thing that I just had been doing all along.
I love it. Hence the word Dharma?
Yeah, well, my first introduction to spirituality was through Buddhism, and it's through Buddhism where I learned the term Dharma, this concept of sort of truth or the natural order of things, and it can mean, one's inner truth. And all of these comics were illustrating my own discoveries of my inner truth. And Dharma can also mean kind of your own calling. They say like an acorn's Dharma is to grow into an oak tree. And so it's interesting, I named them Dharma Comics, way back in the beginning, but after a while I sort of tuned into the idea that, this is my Dharma, and that's maybe partly why I gave them that name.
And why did you choose to do it with a special ink and special paper?
The ink and paper is just a matter of, I had whatever I had at first, and then you do it more and more, and you're like, this one doesn't work, swap it out for this one. Just kind of trial and error, and now it's pretty, I want the markers that I love. That makes a difference.
I love how this journey of yours and your mission or your role or your Dharma, living at your purpose, it happened one step at a time. And I think some people are afraid to, are searching for their purpose. Would you have some recommendation with related to your story?
I'm glad you noticed that, because that's maybe been one of my biggest lessons in this process. I think before I always had these ideas, these big ideas that I wanted to achieve, and then I would sort of stress myself out trying to get to that big idea. And a lot of those, in my experience, just sort of failed and went flat. And Dharma Comics was something that happened really organically. I never made a project out of it. I never had an ambition for it. It was always, what's the next thing? And usually that would mean, let's start adding color, or let's start using a ruler to make the line straighter, just like one little aesthetic preference at a time. And then suddenly, I never considered myself an artist 3 years ago. And now that may be the primary way I identify, and it was, no art classes, no intention of becoming an artist, just following kind of a moment by moment, I kind of feel like doing this, and then doing it and letting that happen.
You follow your intuition?
It's a practice. Yeah. It's what I'm most trying to cultivate, I think, at this point, is listening to my intuition.
And now it brought you to Japan, and on the stage was 10,000 people maybe, and praying for the world peace. One step at a time brought you to that. How inspiring.
Well, I think one of the neat things about following intuition can also mean following joy or something that feels easeful. And so I found the more I follow the path of ease, then I'm always in ease. So even though it doesn't always rationally connect, at least I'm like doing something that I feel called to do, most of the time, even when it doesn't make sense. Sometimes instead of intuition, I always just call it follow the path of happiness. Happy, like right now I want to draw something and that would make me happy, so I do that. And now, traveling to Japan would make me happy, so I do that. And then following happiness, then I'm often in happiness.
It makes perfect sense. We had this exercise a little earlier on that I really invite you to do as well, where we had to share our special moment, that connection that we found with another human being, where we felt the oneness. Can you describe one instant where you felt that?
Yeah, I was actually talking about a relationship with a friend where over time in our friendship, I had started building up some judgments and some doubts. But because I'd had this philosophy that we should all be connected and we should all be one, I stuffed that down, and I never brought it out in our relationship. The concerns or the judgments, or, I was just, every time I thought something negative, I would try and meditate past that. And then got to this point where I just, in an emotionally intense environment, I just let it all go. And then we were able to kind of talk through the issues and work things out. And I really got for myself, like, one of the necessary things for me in terms of coming together with people is revealing all that's happening for me. So the vulnerability of saying, I'm judging you, or I'm scared of you, or I'm scared you're judging me, or just, allowing the negative stuff to be part of the relationship, because I found that when I try and push that aside or pretend it isn't there, or try and talk about harmony, peace, love, bliss, when that other stuff really is there, then I actually grow farther from people instead of closer.
So that authenticity, that vulnerability too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're afraid of being judged, when the easiest way is really just to be ourselves.
Judged or left, or, conflict can seem scary, or we may lose something, or somebody may misunderstand us, or sometimes I find I'm actually judging myself for what I'm thinking, and so I don't trust somebody else to be able to hold it. And it's really in those moments of trusting somebody else to handle my difficulties that I find connection.
Beautiful. If there is one last message, something that you would like to share or to say that is important to you, that is on your heart?
I just want to say that I think the word artist is overloaded, and a lot of people are really scared of art. And I just art to me is just a process of letting go of your logical mind and trusting your child playfulness to play with color, play with markers, play with your voice, play with, acrobatics, whatever it is. And everybody is an artist. And so if you're thinking I'm not an artist, I just want to call BS and invite everybody to step into that aspect of aesthetic playfulness.
Yeah. And listen and see it also art from the heart, and instead of the intellectual mind too, and just being with it.
But if you have to start from art with the intellectual, start there. But I want to stand for everybody being an artist.
Yay! Big kisses, my beautiful co-creators from Japan. Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
Big kisses. Bye.